Autobots, roll out!
Hello and welcome to That's Just Prime, and today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Cybertron Optimus Prime, also known as Galaxy Convoy, and I love this toy. Just check this guy out. Now this time around, Optimus Prime has a sort of a futuristic kind of looking fire truck. This is when they were still doing the made-up vehicle modes. They were loosely based on something real world, but kind of, deviated from that, kind of to look futuristic. And this is, some kind of a fire truck, and I think it's really, really cool. I totally love this mode. Just look at this guy. He's just big, and these horns are blasting. You're going to get out of its way. This thing is awesome. Now, this guy, he was released in 2005, and he was a leader class, and he originally retailed for about $40. Here in truck mode, he's about 12.5 inches long, approximately, and about 5 inches tall right here at the top of this. You can call this maybe a ladder, maybe a water cannon. I don't think anybody really knows for sure, so it's up to you. It's just one of those things where imagination rules. So, well, whatever this is, we're looking at about 5 inches here. I totally love this truck mode. I think it's just super cool. I really enjoy this. This is quite possibly one of my favorite primes. I don't know if it's the favorite, but it's up there. I really, really love this toy. Now, here in truck mode, if there was one thing that I was going to change into it, there's only one complaint that I have with this guy, and it's right here. We've got, once again, visible head syndrome. That would be the only thing I would change on this guy. Maybe if the head could go down a little lower and there would have been a little platform there, I don't know, a little panel, something. Just cover this up, guys. Come on. Let's not have robot heads showing in truck modes. We're supposed to be robots in disguise, right? And, oh boy, speaking of robots in disguise, you just wait until you see this guy's next mode. It's awesome. Now, as far as weapons go, he does have a couple of weapons. If we go over here to this side, we've got some missiles that are on launchers. You can see right here. We're going to call this a water cannon. We're just going to say that this is a water cannon, but there are 3 missiles mounted here. If you look right up here on the top, there's a button right here, and that is going to shoot the first missile. And let's take a look at that missile right there. And then the other 2 missiles are on the sides here and on the inside of the gun, of the water cannon rather. And how we're going to deploy those is we're going to bring in the key. And this is just some random cyber key that I grabbed. I am actually not exactly sure if this is the actual key that goes with this figure. I don't believe that it is. I've got them all in a bag and I just grabbed one. So, but anyway, this key just pops in right here in the back. And when you push it all the way in, you get the 2 missile launchers that pop out there and there, just like there. Just like so, and then both of these are also spring-loaded, so you can shoot that one off. Come on, man. Oh, that didn't shoot. That's weird. It was shooting earlier. Always, these things are always going to happen on camera. When you practice before the shoot and you check it out to make sure everything is working, nothing, everything works fine. And then when you're trying to do it on camera, that's when things don't work. And there's number 3. So there's all your missiles. And we'll take the cyber key out of there because we're going to go over here to the other side. Now, this side over here, once again, call this whatever you will. This can be a ladder or this can be a water cannon, whatever you want to call this. But this does have some sounds and some lights to it. If you look on the inside here, right up top here, there's a little blue button. So when you press on this guy, you get some lights and some shooting sounds there. It sounds like a laser shooting at you. And then if you take your cyber key and pop this guy in, you get a little bit of a power-up sound right there. This opens up, and you get the power-up sound. And then if you press and hold the button, you get this kind of a charging sound. And then when you release it, big explosion, big boom. Optimus Prime just blew off your face. I love that, man. This is so cool. So we're going to get ready to go into our... So that's the weapons, and we're going to go into our next mode, our in-between mode. And you're going to have to forgive my little bit of a shakiness here. We're going to go into our kind of our side view here. because this guy is about to get really, really big. So, I mentioned earlier, robots in disguise, right? This guy has an in-between mode between the truck and the robot. This guy has a flight mode. That's right. This guy can turn into a flying fire truck. How cool is that? Yeah. So much for robots in disguise. So what you're going to do, as you can see here, is I'm taking these panels out, the side panels here, and I'm folding these all the way back. And then once I get about here, I'm going to turn them down and make them parallel to my surface. And then I'm going to take both of the cannons, point those straight forward. And then finally, I'm going to take these guns up here at the top, and I'm going to rotate these and turn them to the side. And right here we have Optimus Prime in his flight mode. This guy is huge. This thing is awesome. Yeah, it's a fire truck that flies. So as far as robots in disguise, it's not doing a very good job of it, but it's so crazy that I love it. This is such a cool mode, and it's really huge. You can just grab this thing right back here and just run around the house flying this thing. It's so cool. I totally love that thing. So we're gonna bring the camera back down, and we're gonna take this guy right back to his regular truck mode real quick. And then we're going to start getting ready for our transformation. So what's going to happen here when we go into transformation, let's bring these guys back down again. And I'm going to bring the camera back to our front view. How's that? There we go. That looks good right there. So now that we're back in truck mode, we're going to start our transformation in the robot mode. And what we're going to do here is we're going to separate this whole back side of the truck here and these blue pieces where these cannons are mounted on. We're just going to grab the whole thing right back here from the back and just lift it straight up. Just like that. And then we're going to move that off to the side. And we've got our bare truck mode right here. And this is a cool little feature right here. If you look here, this guy actually has working suspension. That's super cool. Transformation on this guy is really simple. We're going to start right here at the legs. Obviously, the back of the truck is going to become the legs. Go ahead and split these up and spin the whole thing down just like that. These back pieces of the legs or of the truck, these are going to rotate up and around and plug into the back of the leg right there. Same thing on this side. And there's your legs. And then there's a little joint right here. There's a little slider joint right here, right where the knee is at. So you can actually slide these out and give the legs a little bit of clearance away from each other. Okay, right here, this is going to be the waist piece. You can bring this guy, hold this in place here, and bring this guy down. And we are going to need to adjust our camera because we're starting to get tall. We're not even going into super robot mode yet, and we're already getting tall. Okay, so you look at the sides here, we've got some windows. These guys are going to rotate over to the front, and they've got little clips right here. So these guys are going to clip in together, just like that. Come around the front of the truck. The whole front of the truck is going to split apart, and these are going to rotate. You're going to see there's a big mushroom peg right behind where the cab would be. There's a real big mushroom peg, and there's a big port right here. So these guys are actually going to rotate around. This is a double hinge right here, and these are going to peg into the sides of the robot mode right there. These bottom parts of the cab are going to come down. Actually, before you do that, just to make a little bit of clearance, grab these both of these panels, the sides of the cabs here. These actually slide up just like this, and that's actually going to give you a little bit of clearance to bring the fists down and rotate them around to the front. Same thing on this side. Just rotate that down, then rotate it to the front. And we're almost there. Last but not least, I love this feature coming up here. Okay, if you look in the back of the robot mode, there's a little lever right there. So we're going to slide that lever up. Epic head reveal. That's so cool. And there is Cybertron Optimus Prime in his robot mode. And how cool does this guy look? I really love this design. This guy, once again, we've got a Prime that is a whole new take on Optimus Prime, but we're still very reminiscent of what is the classic look to Optimus Prime. You've got the red body with the blue limbs, the blue legs, the blue arms. He looks like Optimus Prime. I love this guy. He looks so cool. For articulation, you've got a rotation on the head. The head can rotate around. No ball joints, so you can't do the up and down, unfortunately. Shoulders can go all the way around. They're on the universal joint, so you can also bring them out. But you can only bring them out that far because of the panel right here on the front. As you saw earlier with the transformation, we do have a rotation on the elbow. So we can go all the way backwards even. Ow, I broke my arm skateboarding. And then right here, the fingers on the fists are also articulated. So they're all together, but you can actually open and close his fists. That's pretty cool right there. No waist articulation, but we do have some good articulation on the legs here. I'm going to move this up just for purposes of the video, just to show you guys. So you see the hips here on universal joints as well. So it can go all the way to the front. We can go all the way to the back, and we can go out as well. And these wheels are on a little hinge, so you can actually pop these guys out of the way to make some cool sidekick poses right there. As you can probably tell, right here, midway between the hip and the knee, we've got a rotation right there. We've got a complete 90 on the knee. And you can go forward a little bit too, and that looks painful. Again, get off the skateboard, Optimus. You're breaking things. And that's about it. There's no articulation on the toes. So there is Cybertron Optimus Prime in robot mode. I think this guy looks super awesome. Now, if there was anything that I could change on the robot mode here, there kind of is and there isn't. I'm not a fan of Optimus Primes that don't have a mouth plate. And as you can see, this guy has kind of the Beast Wars look to him, where he's got the half of the plate going on there. So this is a bit of a cheat because he does have a mouth plate. It's typically on the show he only had the mouth plate when he was in super mode. But I what can I say? I like my Primes with their mouth plates. So right back here on the back of the head, there's a little lever. Let's see if I can get that on camera. Little lever right there that you can pull down. If you can see that little lever comes out the back of the head, you just pull that straight down. And what happens, and it's come back around to the front again, when you pull the little lever down, boom, automatic mouth plate. I love that. That is such a cool feature. And the only thing that I would have changed on this robot would have been that. And there it is. He's got a mouth plate. So no changes on the robot mode. I love it. I absolutely love the way that looks. He does also have a really cool feature, and I'm going to come in close right here, and we're going to focus on the chest. Now, you can take these windows and pop these guys open, and if you remember this panel, I held this in place when I was transforming him. So a real easy, if you can get your fingernail in there and pop this down, cool. If you don't have fingernails, here's a cool little trick you can do. Bring the waist plate up and then flip it back down again, and that's going to bring this panel down with it. And then you can see right in here is a matrix of leadership. And yes, it is removable. It's kind of hard to get in there and get it out, but it can be done. There it is. There's your matrix of leadership for Cybertron Optimus Prime. And yes, he can hold it in his hands. However, it's a little small for him. You can't put his fingers in there. What you got to do is you kind of got to put it around his thumb and then just kind of pinch it in place like that. And unfortunately, the articulation is not enough to where he can hold it with two hands. So, but he can hold it with one hand and kind of, oh, look at me, I have the matrix and you don't. So at least you can do that much with it. I typically don't take it off. I typically just leave it in there. But there it is. That's another Prime with a removable matrix, and I think that is just such a cool feature. And I really like the way that this plate comes up, the little plate that protects it. Also has this little window to show that kind of I guess that would be the crystal. So that shows that through. I think that's really such a super cool feature. So we'll close this guy back up, and let's show off his weapon. Now, if you remember on what was left of the truck here, on this one long water cannon here, this piece on the front, you can just pop this right off, just like so, and this is going to become Optimus's handgun. And this is cool. This can go on either fist. And if you look, it's got a little peg on either side. The inside of Optimus's fists have that little port right there. So you can do that on either side. So you open the fist all the way up, and then you can just get the gun in there. I'm trying to see this to the camera. There you go. So that can peg in right there into the fist, and then you can just close the fingers around it. And it's a good, secure hold right there. That gun's not going anywhere. So there you go. There's Optimus in robot mode with his rifle. And once again, you can put the missile in and prepare to fire. And there you go. So there's Optimus all loaded up and ready to blow up your face. So I'm going to take Optimus aside for just a second, and I'm going to bring in what was left of the vehicle mode here. Bring the camera down just a little bit. Now, the remainder of the truck here does like a sort of a gun platform. I guess it's a base mode, but it's really more of a gun platform. It's really kind of a stretch if you ask me, but it's in the instructions, so I'm going to show it to you. What you're going to do is you're pretty much just going to take these two panels here and bring them out all the way out so that the whole thing tilts up, and then you take these two guns and you flip them to the side like that, and you can take these guys and you can point them up or off to the side a little bit, you know, whatever you want to do here. But that is pretty much the gun platform right there, and then Optimus can stand behind there and man the platform. And like I said, it's a bit of a stretch, but it's in the instructions, so I wanted to show that to you. So we'll get this off to the side, and we're going to get Optimus ready for his super robot mode, his combined mode. Yep, we're not done. We're going to combine with the trailer. So let's see. I'm a little short on room here, so let's move Optimus aside again. Let's bring this guy in. What we're going to do here is we're just going to bring this guy out. We're going to open the sides of the back of the truck here. These two blue panels here are going to pop off, so you just go ahead and separate those. Take these guys off. And then bring the guns to the side like this and split these in half. There you go. And then just set these to the side. And then you take this part of the truck here is going to become the backpack. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the side panels here with the wings, and you're going to rotate these 180 degrees all the way around. And I'm going to leave that there. Let's see, would it be easier? I'm trying to figure out how this would be easier on camera. Maybe that way. And then let's do the same thing over here. Rotate that all the way around. Bring that gun forward. And then if you look in the front here, stay in place. There we go. And then if you look in the front here, these are going to become kind of shoulder straps. So we're going to pop these up and out like that. And that's going to be like, this whole thing is going to become a jetpack for Optimus. So let's set that to the side. I am going to raise this camera because we're about to get really tall. And we're going to start getting into our super robot mode. Let's bring Optimus back in. Now, first thing we're going to do with Optimus is we're going to take these legs. Remember the back part of the trucks that we flipped to the back. We're going to bring these back down again. And this time we're going to rotate them one more time. And you're going to see there's a mushroom peg right there. That's going to plug into the bottom of his foot right there. So go ahead and pop that in. And then bring the toe down just like that. Same thing on this side. Rotate this all the way around. One more time. Plug it and bring the toe down. So now we've got Optimus with super boots. And this makes him a little back heavy. As you can see, easy to fall. That's where these guys are going to come into place. So if you look at the back of these guys, there's a mushroom peg right there, and there's a port right here. If you look at the back of the leg, there's a port right there. So what we're going to do is, let me see if I have these right. Yep, okay, and then there's a peg right here that's going to go into the slot right here. So we're going to get this slot, this peg into that slot, and then that peg on the mushroom peg on the top, plug that right in there. Same thing with the other side. Slide this guy in there and pop that peg in. And that's going to give us a little more heel support. And now Optimus stands just fine. So next thing we're going to do is just kind of take the arms and get them out of the way as best you can. And there are a couple of slide rails right here. and that is where these parts of the backpack are going to slide through. So I'll do my best to get this on camera here. So we're going to slide these right under the arms, and then once we get all the way through, these guys are going to come down, and you'll see there's a peg and there's a port. These guys are going to clip right in place, and this backpack's going to stay in place really well, very secure. So that guy slides in just like that. Bring these guys down, get that window out of the way, and that clips right in there. Let's see, same thing on this side. That guy comes down, pegs in right in there. And that is pretty much it for the Super Robot mode. And we are now very, very big. And I don't think I can even get the whole thing on the camera. This is as far back as I can go. And I don't think I can even get the whole thing in there without picking the camera up. I'm really trying not to do that. So there we go. I think that about gets the whole thing. And one last thing, if you come up here on the head, you make sure, again, if you didn't have the mouth plate already up, you pop the mouth plate up. And then you've got these little earpieces that flip up. And there is Optimus Prime, Cybertron Optimus Prime, or Galaxy Convoy in Super Robot mode. And how cool does this guy look? I absolutely love the look of this guy. Now you've got the weapons that are kind of underslung, and his handgun just popped up. So you can leave the handgun in his hand, or you can plug it right back into this cannon. Either way is fine. But these are meant to be like kind of underslung weapons right there. So that would be the way that you would see him on the show, would be just like that. I think that is just so cool. Here in combined mode, the Super Robot is approximately 9.5 inches tall at the head. And the articulation is going to be, as you can imagine, it's the same articulation. None of it changed. It's all the same that you had in the regular robot mode. However, you know, if you want to rotate your arms all the way around, obviously you're going to have wings in the way. You can move these around and kind of get them out of the way if you need to. I mean, if he really needs to reach back that badly, you can do that. But, you know, you're going to be a little limited at this point. So, okay, one last thing I want to show you. He's got these shin or knee-mounted cannons here on the sides. So, let's see. The way I like to do this is, I guess we'll take this gun off, his handgun, we'll take it off. And this is pretty cool. You can actually, when you plug this guy back in here, you can plug it in upside down with the handle up. So, you know, with the whole idea that these are kind of underslung, you can kind of have these, if he was going to have them underslung, he could maybe grab onto the handle like that. He doesn't really reach, but, you know, that's something that he could do. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to point these up and out a bit like this. Come on, stay there. Come on, stay there, buddy. There you go. And then you've got these guns that we saw earlier here mounted to the side of the shin here. These will actually rotate up and out like this. So, and you would actually see him do this on the show when he went into his ultimate attack. He would have all his guns blazing up and out. You have all these were pointing forward. These would point forward, and then you would have this barrage of lasers that he would just shoot out. Really, really cool. So, this would be kind of his. I'm trying to get this to really line up here, but it's not really kind of. It's got this click, and I'm having a hard time kind of lining it up. But there you go. There you go. So, yeah, you'd see him on the show do this, and then there would be like this barrage of just lasers and missiles just shoot out at you. Really, really, really cool. Quite possibly one of the most powerful primes that we've had, and one of my personal favorites. I absolutely just love how this guy looks. So, I think that pretty much covers Transformer Cybertron Optimus Prime. Please leave me some comments, subscribe, share with your friends if you like what you see, and I'll talk to you next time on That's Just Prime.